Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Inside OSU Athletics, and we're talking about national championships. Dave Smith joins us, the head coach of the Cowboy track and field team, but also the cross-country team, and that's what we're talking about today. Coach, good to have you back with us here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So there's a little hardware over your left shoulder.
Yeah.
Some things have changed since we saw you last, and obviously you added another national championship to the shelf.
Yeah, it was a great season. When we went undefeated this year, won the conference title, won the regional title, and then ended up with the national trophy as well.
Number 5.
Yeah, 6 for OSU.
6 for OSU,
Yeah.
5 for you.
Yeah.
For you individually, does it feel any different? Was it any more rewarding? Different group? How do you size those up?
Yeah, everyone's a little different. This one, I was really happy for our seniors, Fawad Masaudi, Ryan Shoppy, and Will Muirhead. 3 guys that have been the cornerstone and the kind of glue of our program for a long time, both athletically and more so culturally, and kind of the way we try to build our program, who we want to be. Those guys have been key. And so last year we had a really disappointing year. We went to the year thinking we might repeat and win another title and came up 8th. And I think it was heartbreaking for those guys. And for them to turn it around, Fawad Masaudi was 222nd last year. He was 5th this year.
Wow.
For him to turn it around like that and lead us to a win, it was really an emotional moment. And, at coming through the finish chute, Fawad was already in tears when he crossed the line.
Wow.
And it was just a really emotional, a real happy moment.
You know, obviously, this sport, you and I have talked a lot over the years about the aspects of the sport and how do you run. And, there's so much of a mental aspect of this game as well. But I want to talk about your mental motivation. You worked beautifully this year into the equation, the disrespect that Oklahoma State was getting.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's real or not. I don't know if it was real or not, because Oklahoma State, you guys have finished so strongly and have won so many championships, but you really played that card very well this year.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of a redemption tour this year and also a little bit of a revenge tour. And I think I told the guys multiple times, I said, 2 years ago we won the national championship with the lowest score in 20 years. And a year later, they've forgotten about us. They don't know. They're not predicting us to win. Iowa State's now the favorite. How did this happen?
Yeah.
We've got 3 guys in this team that have been in the top 12 at the national championships twice each. Nobody else has 2 guys that have done it once each. And so I said, I think let's go out and remind them this year who we are, that we're still here, that we haven't gone away, that we can have one off year but not crumble.
And obviously that worked out beautifully. Let's backtrack, though. Last time you and I sat here at this table and talked, we were getting ready for the regionals, getting ready for you guys to host that, and excited about that opportunity. And then some things changed for you, right? You had a little hiccup health-wise. I don't know what you want to divulge, but you didn't get to go to the regionals.
No, I had a collapsed lung and didn't know it for about 4 days. There was just a lot of pain, and my workouts kept getting harder and harder, and the stair climber seemed to be steeper and steeper. So finally, I went and got a chest X-ray, and they said go directly to the ER. And so I went into the ER thinking I'd be in, a day or at the most, and be out by the evening and maybe the next morning at the latest. And it ended up being a 7-day stay in the hospital and a transfer to Tulsa. And very frustrating. I watched we hosted the regional, so I watched that from the hospital bed on the streaming and was yelling at the screen and panicking in ways about things I couldn't control, and it all went fine.
Yeah, obviously it did go very well for you, and then you get to the championship. You were able to attend the championship, though, right?
Yeah, I was in Tulsa for a surgery, and the surgeon, I went on Friday, and I finally saw the surgeon on Sunday. And he said, if we do the surgery, you're going to be out another 4 to 6 days before you can leave the hospital. I said, when are we going to do the surgery? He said, well, Monday or Tuesday. I said, that's not going to work because I'm going to Columbia on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And so he gave me the option. He said, it's kind of a 50-50 call at this point, whether you need it or not. And so I said, well, if it's a 50-50, that going to the national championships tips the scale, I'm going. So.
And you did go. And did that add to the emotion, you think, for both teams? Their leader is back.
I think so, a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that was part of it. I think they didn't need a lot more added to. They were pretty dialed in all year. I think we talked a lot about kind of the things that went wrong in 2024. And one of the things I think that happened is that we won so handily in 2023. I think the athletes expected it to be easy in 2024. They came off that race in 23, and they immediately forgot how hard it was because of the celebration and the euphoria and all these positive neurotransmitters and serotonin and dopamine, everything flooding their brain, and erases how hard it was.
Yeah.
And I think they went to 2024 thinking, oh, we're just going to cakewalk through this and win. So this year, we talked a lot about expect it to be hard, expect it to be painful, expect to be willing to suffer more than anybody else. And that's the way we win. And I think that they were dialed into that kind of theme all year long, and they were ready when we got to the national meet.
25-point differential between you and New Mexico, the second-place finisher. I don't know if you would call that easy or not, but that was, obviously, it's a huge disparity. And they made sure that they took care of business with that right frame of mind that you were just talking about.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, though. I looked at this just yesterday. We score 5. Each team scores their top 5. And you just add up your places. That's how you score. If New Mexico's second, third, fourth, and fifth runners had each run 4 seconds faster on a 30-minute race, we lose.
Wow.
That's how close it is. And so the score looks... This is what I tell the guys. We look at it, we won by a lot. But really, we won by a narrow margin. And we were saved by one of our seniors, Ryan Shoppy, who moved up 41 places in the last 3,000 meters. So it's a 10,000-meter race. So in the last 30% of the race, he moved up 41 spots from 75th to 34th, and we won by 25. And really, without that move by him at the end of the race, he had the fastest last 1,000 of all 262 runners in the race. Without that, we don't win. So it was, like I said, there was a lot of really cool things about this one. One is that this actually a COVID 6-year senior who's been here and part of our program for so long saved the day on his last race in uniform.
And obviously, you had a lot of guys kind of close together at the front, but Brian ended up with a personal best, right? By 3 seconds, I believe. So obviously he got out there and got after it.
Yeah, it was a fast race, and we went 4, 5, 6, 12, and 34, and even Shoppy at 34, I think he was only like 13 or 14 seconds off of Brian, who was fourth. That's how tight it is. It's about 2 guys per second is how they finish.
Unbelievable. A fantastic finish, obviously. On the women's side, finished 12th. Give me just kind of the recap for their success and where that was, where you thought they would be.
It's in the range I thought we would be. It was in the lower end of the range. I thought we had a chance to be a trophy team, a top 4 team. I still believe that. I think we made some mistakes in the women's race tactically. I think 4 or 5 of our women just went out too fast, too hard, got too caught up in the moment, couldn't kind of put the governors on and kind of save something for the end like the men did. I think the women got caught up in it on a hot early pace, and we paid the price. And unlike the men, we lost a lot of points at the end. The men were gaining. We were getting better as we finished. The women were getting... It had been one more 1,000, we might have been 20th. So,
and that's kind of interesting because that's kind of the race your men ran last year, right?
That's right. Yeah, I think like I said, it got difficult. They weren't expecting that. They started to panic, and then kind of an off day went to a bad day, went to a terrible day last year. Yeah. And so the women, I thought we'd be somewhere between 4th and 15th. We were 12th. We'll take it. It's a big improvement from last year's 27th place finish. It's a young team. Everybody returns next year. They learned something this year, I hope, and I think next year we can come back and try to get that trophy.
Speaking of next year, you mentioned a lot of seniors, and I'm happy for those seniors on the men's side. What's next for this team? Is this team reloaded, ready to go? And are they going to forget about you going into next season with all these seniors graduating?
Probably. We've still got a group of 3 that finished 4th, 6th, and 12th this year that will be our leaders next year. We're going to have to fill a couple holes, and these days you could do it pretty quickly in the portal, or we got to have some of the young guys we've been bringing along have got to develop. It's been time. We've got a group of kids that are going into their 4th year next year. Right. We've been building patiently, slowly over time, and I think that group is ready to make a step up.
And it's awesome in today's world just to hear guys that are getting ready to be somewhere for 4 years and paying their dues and then getting their opportunities. That is a rarity in today's world.
Yeah, I am really proud of this group. We brought in a group of about 8 or 9 guys that are now, like I said, will be entering their 4th year. None of them have run in our top 7 at the national championship yet. That's what they came here to do. Yeah. But they've all stuck with it. And they kept fighting, kept battling. And I've told them from the day they got here is we're shooting for 2026 with you guys. This team is really good. If you crack the lineup between now and then, great. But just know that we're building for the long term, and we want you to be on fire in 2026 and 2027.
Coach, congratulations. Enjoy that one.
Thank you.
All right. With that, we need to get out of here. Want to say thanks to Coach Dave Smith. Want to say thanks to you guys for tuning in as well. We'll see you next time on Inside OSU Athletics.